Oh, hey, yeah. Look at this, 30 seconds early, huh? For all you naysayers out there, like, Mark will probably be 10 minutes late. Well, you're usually right. Not today. By the way, I am still the best dad ever. I don't know if you know that. When I was at Sony Condo, I brought back two presents. They were the same ones. If you have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, you must get the 5-year-old, whatever you got the 8-year-old, even if it's 8-year-old appropriate. And I got him a rock set. The 8-year-old is in the rocks. Oh no, I got my speaker on. Let's turn that off right there. Oh, I had my MacBook speaker on listening to me. That would have been a terrible amateur mistake. I am no amateur. I like saying amateur instead of amateur because it makes me sound more pretentious. Now let's see, is anybody here? Okay, this guy he's coming out swinging. Marius, the best lens is the one you can afford and one you use to create. Well, yeah. I mean, I title these things instead of I find if I title them Q&A, nobody tunes in. So I like to have a theme. I like to have a theme, Marius. But I mean, that is a good jumping off point, right? Morning. Good morning. Rudy Riot, RPG. Good morning. Let's see. Oh, look at old Barry Johnson. He's not here. I'm at a client, Mark. I will catch the replay tonight. This is Barry's way of telling us that he's busy. He's working. He's probably just at home eating potato chips. Come on, Barry. Tell it like it really is. You ain't doing crap, client. Barry, look at you people working hard. This is sort of my work, right? Although I did spend the morning testing a Godox microphone. Boy, I love it. Okay, of course I don't have it here. Why would I? You can plug it straight into a Sony camera into the hot shoe, and you don't need a cable. You don't need a wire. Can you believe that? That's fantastic. I mean, DJ, I have one, but you got to buy the adapter, and then of course the mic costs way more than the Godox WEC mic, and you need to buy the adapter. But I love that there are now two options to have a wireless microphone. Ethan, hi Mark, it's been a while. How's your little doughy? It's yeah. He means Dougie, I am sure. He is great. Where is he? Oh, wait. There's too many cameras around here. This is I don't know, Dougie Jr., Dougie Sr. This is the ZV E10 Mark II. I was just testing the Godox on that one. And there's an A6700 here, but, oh, there he is. Just look around my floor until you find one. Here is little Dougie. The OG, the original. Oh, man. Speaking of OG, that's what I called iJustine at Sony Condo. She was really nice. I've seen her at 3 events, but I've been too afraid to talk to her. She looks very approachable. It's just she always looks super, super busy because she is. She was like setting up a podcast, sticking in wires, like grabbing a table, dragging it across a lawn. And Gerald Undone is standing there because he knows her. And I go up and I say, hey, do you need any help? Because like, she's doing like a million things. And then she was like, no, I'm good. And then Gerald just says, yeah, I was going to offer, but I didn't want to. And we all laughed. Gerald, and he started talking about the Jerry Seinfeld quote, men just like seeing work being done. They like to stand around. Was that a Phillips you got there? It's a fun little interaction. That's why I really like going to these condo things, because it doesn't benefit you financially, at least in the short run, because, even though they pay for your plane ticket down there, you just, you waste a whole week. You kill a whole week, and it's really hard to upload videos. My 85 didn't do that well, my 85 review, because it was all around the condo stuff, and it's difficult. It's difficult to get your work done. I find there's a big dip in the month of August for me financially when I go to these Sony Condo things, but I think it's worth it because friends, you meet the people and then you foster relationships. I'm sitting here in my Handsome Studios basement, and it's just, you don't talk to anybody. You know what? I should check the chat. Speaking of not talking, I'm just talking right at the camera. The man, the myth, the legend. Yes, I am all of those things. Greetings from Germany. Greetings to you. Let's see how many people. We have 117 people. What's happening, guys? Is there any real reason to watch me? I think there is not. You know what? I think I have the YouTube chat up as well. Yes, I do. I'm going to try not to miss anything this time, but I probably will miss a lot. It's hard for me to read and talk at the same time. Don't even get me started on chewing bubblegum. Am I right or am I right? But back before me and Gerald were friends, because we are like besties now, right? Like Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds. That's me and Gerald now. And you can decide which one I am. Whichever one you think is more handsome, that's me. And but he would jump on my live stream, and I didn't even notice him for like 30 minutes, and he's just like, hello. I felt bad, and all the people in the comments were making fun of me, like, Mark, Gerald's here, the one and only, the greatest tech YouTuber of all time, with the exception of yourself, and he's trying to talk to you. And I was like, I don't need to talk to you. People thought I was actively ignoring him, like I had a problem with Gerald. So I'm going to try not to let that happen again. And as I'm saying this, I'm ignoring my comment section. Okay, let me go back to Ecamm Live, because I find it's a little easier to read my comments in Ecamm Live. What do you think, Mr. Cam Junkie? I saw you. Do you read your comments in Ecamm Live, or do you read them on the YouTube thing? Because that one's a bit delayed, I think. Hey, let's see. This guy's waiting. That's from earlier, before I even started the stream. AR Visuals was already waiting. Okay. GoPro 13, legit thoughts on them and their future. You know what? I mean, I haven't used the 13. I love action cams. They're just adorable. Do I have any on hand that I can grab? No. Oh, yes, I do. This one's a DJI. Like, I use, like, especially when I go out do street photography, I'll strap them to the chest, walk around, film the world while I take my photos. Oh, look, here it is. Look at that. See, just had to look around my mess a little bit. Here's my GoPro. What number is this? This is the 10. GoPro 10. Honestly, I love action cams for what they are. A lot of people try to use them for, cinematic things, and I can do my whole YouTube studio, and you can if you try hard enough and you find enough ways to do it. But I just, with the small sensors and the fisheye effect, even when you use the linear thing, it's just that, I don't love them in terms of image quality, is what I'm trying to say. And that's what I'd really like to see going forward. If you can make these look more like these, that's a ZVE1. I know it's a full frame sensor and whatnot, but like, maybe a micro four thirds type camera, that would be, I know I'm asking a lot, but I do love action cams. And now GoPro 13, I don't know. GoPro seems to be making smaller and smaller changes. But, people called for them going away years and years ago. Remember when they did their drone and it was like, oh my God, it's the end of GoPro? They're pretty smart. They're savvy. They've got a lot of money. I think they're going to be fine. I think that DJI has a leg up on them right now. DJI seems to be doing very, very well in the small sensor market. With that little a Pocket Osmo 3 that I have, and this action cam here, this one, the action, what is it, the 4, and it's dusty as hell. But yeah, I don't know. And then Insta360 oh boy, they were making up some major ground. They were, no one had a 360 camera as good as theirs, and their action cam had a lot of potential. Wasn't good at the close focusing, but other than that, it was maybe the best one. And but then they had that marketing snafu, let's call it that. And people are a little bit soured on those guys. I've had a great relationship with them, but it's through email. And the guy's been sending me products saying, if you want to test them out, great. But if you don't, okay. But like, that's all. And I wrote him and I said, with all of the controversy, with all of the bad feelings that are going around, I'm going to hold off for now. And he was like, I totally understand. And like, see, and that's my relationship with them. So it's been really, really good. But I can't speak to anyone else's experience. But I do really like their cameras. So I would love to review them. Maybe I should. It's hard, right? Because like, I'm at Sony Condo and there were some creators there that felt very upset at Insta360, and then other ones were like, I like them. And so it's I don't know, it's a touchy subject. So like all controversy, I just stay away, just why have an opinion? Then people can get mad at you. You know what I mean? Look at this. Hey there, Smexy. Hey, Mr. Bronson. What's going on, buddy? This is Bronson from Audio Hotline. You want to know anything about audio? First watch my channel, then go to Bronson, and then you'll hear the real information. I also have a Gatorade. Yeah, because I get, I talk like a mile a minute. I get all dry mouthed, so I like to have a little sip of something. But I found the water just wasn't cutting it last time. I'm putting off the energy here, man. This is like salt is flying out of my pores. Okay. Okay. ZVE10 catalyst browse at 150. Any tips or just don't do it? I tell you what is I do it, and I don't like. They've made a lot of updates, like small little updates. over time. And I don't know if it's better now, or I'm better at moving, but I use it 150 all the time. But I am walking, you know. A lot of people, at least once a vlog, if I have a video with some vlog portion of it, people are like, why don't you walk a little slower, you dummy? And they don't say it that nicely. And I'm like, so what is it you'd like me to do? Sprint down the street out of breath while I'm talking about camera specs? If you don't walk smoothly, I don't care what you have, unless it's one of these GoPros or whatever, then it's going to look not great. And also, even if it's smooth, it doesn't look great for you running or walking super fast and talking. So, you know, if you watch a movie, watch Clooney stroll down the street with Julia Roberts. Watch the pace. And that's a guy's got a steady cam and he's backing up. George's not even holding the camera. So what I'm saying is when you're talking on camera, it's best not to move too quickly. Where you going? You know, it's so I walk slowly because that is what I do. And I find that if you're walking slowly, 1/50 is just fine. Now, if you're Casey Neistat and you want to record your Boston Marathon and you're holding it in your hand, yeah, crank it up to 1/100 at least, or 1/200, because Catalyst Browse, if it sees motion blur, it accentuates the motion blur, okay? So when you crank up your shutter speed, it gets rid of the motion blur. Your footage will look a little choppier, but because Catalyst Browse smoothed it out so much, it's barely noticeable. So that's what I'm saying. If you're moving slowly and demurely, then you can do 1/50. If you are starting to really pick up the pace or you're moving the camera around a lot, go to 1/100 and take it from there. So look at that, a real answer, not just my nonsense. All right, let's see, who else is here? Okay, best lens is 320 AGM. Well, yeah, you can't really argue with that. Maybe I shouldn't have titled this thing Best Lens. I'm going to get a bunch of people going, either mad at me or just throwing out lenses. But that's cool. That is, I mean, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay. Love the channel. The 1 or the 2. So weirdly, I mean, it should be a simple answer. It should just be ZV-E10 Mark II. And for video, it is. Just get the ZV-E10 Mark II for video if that's what you're interested in and you have the budget. But for photos, because the ZV-E1 has mechanical shutter, you know, but I mean, for photos, if you're getting a photo camera, you probably would rather an A6100 or an A6400 because those have EVFs and a mechanical shutter and the same sensor as the ZV-E10. So I would say ZV-E10 Mark II, almost for sure, unless you were like 50-50 photos and video, then, you know, ZV-E10, the original, because of that rolling shutter. If you're inside, you're at a wedding and there's all these different lights and stuff, you may get banding with an electronic shutter only. But even though the rolling shutter is pretty fast on the ZV-E10 too. Now, if you just take your photos outdoors, you don't have to worry about it because you won't have much of an issue with the banding, and like things like rolling shutter for bending lines and stuff, you're not going to find that's much of an issue. The only issue will be when you get those black lines going through the banding, going through your photos when you're in mixed lighting where the light frequency is pulsating differently. So I would that's my answer. But for video and you have the budget, absolutely ZV-E10 Mark II. Oh, look at this guy. What a handsome man. You're correct, David. David was at Sony Condo with me. I saw his video where he said he was going to do, like, he had all these things to do, and he tried to go do a workout with Kofi and Terry Warfield, but they ghosted him. Hello? You missed out on this. You working out with this guy. Yeah, I was giving Terry Warfield tips, my friend. Look at it. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, my God. David. I felt personally attacked. David, oh, and I'm also felt personally attacked with David's 85mm G Master 2. His video just took off. He's got like the second or third highest views, and mine has got like the 900th, you know? Normally, I'm not that far behind David, you know? I watch these things. It's just you want to see, we're at Sony Condo and everyone blasted their 85 video, and mine, honestly, like, it was worse, way worse than usual. It was a 10 out of 10 for me. So I really questioned myself, you know, took some self-reflection. There's a little beach there at Santa Barbara. So I just sat there like this, for hours and hours. People wondered what I was doing. I was contemplating. No, I wasn't contemplating, but oh, look at this. No more talking about David and his great video, because I got a super chat and I found it. Oh, look at it. I lost focus. Wow. Wooja. 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 Do I have eye autofocus on? That's a good question. And yes. Human? Human. What did I do here? Do I turn off the eye autofocus? I'll get back to your super chat in a second. I think I did. I don't see it on the screen. Oh, that's a plane. Well, sorry everybody. I have eye autofocus not on. So if it drifts away from my eye, that is not Sony's fault. That is Mark Joseph Bennett's fault. Oh, I can go into the settings and I can still see my images up. So my focus area, target, human, and on. Did I do it? I don't know. No, I've done something wrong. I've done something wrong. I'm zooming in now. You know what? You know what? It's fine. That's the thing with Sony. Even if you don't have the eye autofocus on, it's going to be all right as long as I don't do this a lot. It's like I'm in product showcase mode. You know what I mean? I was. I nailed it. I was in product showcase mode. Oh my God, look at that. Even during the stream, look at this. Hey guys, you want to see the new Peak design case? I bet you. Let's turn that off and go back to eye autofocus. You see that? What a demonstration. What a demonstration of product showcase mode for you right there. Oh, okay, go back to the Osho Super Chat. What are your thoughts on a straight swap of the Zeiss F4 16-35 for the 24-70? I have plenty of lenses. That is, I mean, you know, you gave me a super chat, so I'm going to do my best to nuance this answer. But that is completely up to your focal range. I use a 16-35 a lot. Well, this one's a 16-25. I use that a lot because I'm always filming my stupid face. So I'm always at 16, but I do like the 16-2.8 that I have here. Or the Viltrox 16-1.8. But that's, you know, this one gives me that zoom. It's more helpful. Plus, when I was at Sony Kondo, I didn't want to take a Viltrox lens, right? So I took this 16-25. So I love the 16 angle, but I have the Zeiss 16-35 f4, and I do not use it anymore. And still a great lens, not as sharp as this 16-25, and goes to f4 instead of f2.8. And like this is f2.8, so I get a bit of background separation here, even though this is a little studio. I can touch. That's the light right there. Did you see it? See? So, so the 24-70, that's just if you want longer reach. But I would say I cannot personally live without something that goes as wide as 16. So that's what I would say. So if you have if you plan to get another wide angle lens, but maybe at an f2.8, then yeah, you swap that out. You know what I mean? Is that good? Is that good? Did I fulfill my super chat duty? I think I did. I think I did. Let me just look, make sure I didn't do anything else there. Look at this. Hello. Hi, Matt. Now, is there anybody? Okay. The only thing is, maybe Mr. Camera Junkie can tell me this. When I'm using Ecamm Live's chat, when a new thing comes up, it pops right down to the bottom, and then I have to scroll back up. Question: are you glad I'm here? A75 rumors. No, not glad. Yes. Iron Merch is always commenting on my videos, so always glad to see. Friendly face. A75 rumors. I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing. I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't be allowed to say, but I am saying I've heard nothing. So, oops. Are you sure I want to block that guy? No, I don't want to block him. My God. My God. Okay, let's see. Oh, the person I almost blocked. Let's put him up. I'm going to call you Z. Okay? You Z. ZV-E10 Mark II or A6700 for beginning YouTuber. If you're talking video alone, no. So if you have the budget, I think the A67, there it is. The A6700 is jangly bits. The A6700 is the better camera. It has IBIS, and if you do want to take photos, you get that mechanical shutter. So depending on the country you live in and the prices, if the prices are similar, get the A6700 because it can do everything the ZV-E10 II can do and more. It has the 4K 120, mechanical shutter, EVF, and IBIS. So even for video, it's better because you get the 4K 120 and you also have better stabilization when you're walking around, in that it only crops 10% instead of 33% when you're in dynamic active stabilization. But the real beauty of the ZV-E10 Mark II is that you can get the same image quality without the 4K 120. Sorry, I had the coffee burps. Without the 4K 120, you will still get the same image quality as an FX30. So, you know, to me, the main draw of the ZV-E10 Mark II over the A6700 is budget. And so if you have the budget, I would do the A6700. If you think that's a little too steep, or you want to save some money for lenses, which is one of the things I recommend people do, ZV-E10 Mark II, all the ways, man, all the ways. Okay, let's see. 167 people. Oh my God. Oh, look at this. A moderator has joined MarieNex. This guy's one of the top streamers. He and Mr. Camera Junkie, they're always jumping on here, helping me moderate, and they are fantastic, much better streamers than me. And I don't know, MarieNex, you tried to tell me, I think last time, about the delay. How is the delay? Does my audio seem like it's synced up or not? I know I'm missing a frame or two here and there. I tried to adjust it. Oh, can you write, MarieNex, what you do to adjust the frame delay for audio, and then maybe I'll remember it this time, because you told me last time. Boo, boo, boo. Do, do, do. Okay, let's see. I'm singing Shady's Back, the new Houdini song. Da, 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 da. My Logify, 7th. Oh, that was a while ago. Hey, buddy. Let's see. All right, maybe I'll type in questions. Oh, super. Oh, cool. There's little tabs here. Oh, there's tabs. I was all worried about missing super chats. There's a literal tab for it. Favorites is a tab, and super chats is a tab. Well, that's cool. So I'll type Q for question, and I'll see. Oh, this is a great question, Merrick. I don't know. I think it's a combination of genetics and sheer will. You know, I will it to be. I insist on my face being handsome, and it's working. It's working so far, I'll tell you that much. Q. La 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 la. Okay. Ecamm versus StreamYard, pros and cons. Well, I can't give you a great answer for that, John, because I don't use StreamYard, but I know StreamYard has a free version, do they not? And that to me would be a very big pro. Ecamm costs money, but it is more than worth it. I remember at NAB, I was telling a bunch of fancy YouTubers about Ecamm. They were like, what is that? I use OBS. I was like, well, Ecamm is like super easy. And, you know, but I think it's Mac only. Mr. Camera Junkie, is that true? Mac only for Ecamm? But if you got a Mac, like this, my stream setup is so good right now. Not to brag, but it's just, I got a ZV-E10, or ZV-E1 going right into my computer, USB, not doing any color grading, not doing anything. Got a little Hollyland Lark M2, just right here, a little button microphone. And that's it, going into Ecamm, and it's just perfect. And the comments are popping up. Look, I was able to put your comment on screen, no problem, with your little face on there and everything, see? So I can't tell you about StreamYard because I don't know about it, but I can recommend Ecamm highly. And I should have an affiliate link. I'm in their affiliate program. I should have a link I'm praising this. Here, just go buy it and then give me no money. But you can go through Mr. Camera Junkie or MarieNex's affiliate link, because I'm too dumb to put one up. And yeah, but that's why I use Ecamm, because I wanted to start streaming, but I wanted to get all of the stuff out of the way. And it really, really helps you do that. And I stream fine in 4K. Oh, I should say there's one more thing. Not that you asked about my setup. You're asking about StreamYard, but I have one of these, but with the spring-loaded one on the back of my ZV-E1, because this would have probably overheat in a few minutes. I find it overheats around 25 to 30 minutes. So I put one of these on, and I don't have much to worry about. You know what I mean? So there you go. Cues. All right. Let's see. How do I set my Kelvin to shoot less than 2500? Well, just do the best thing to do is to I mean, you can only go down that far, and but if you white balance it, it can white balance it properly. Like if you were in a super dark situation, you can when you white balance it, it'll give you the best approximation of the white balance anyway. But yeah, you can't just manually tilt the Kelvin down past 2500. When we'll see more stand-up on your other channel? You're a funny guy. I know. Yeah, no, probably not a lot. I do this now full time because it's better. Stand-up was great, but I'm old, man. I am 46, and stand-up is a grind. It's really, you got to go out. You got to go outside, talk to people. I miss the after show. Like just talking to the comics and stuff. But then even the after show, you're there till say 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then you go home, and you got 2 kids that get up at 5:30, 6 a.m. all the time. It's tough, and you don't get a lot of return for your. I mean, there's guys like your Matt Rife, or Bill Burr, people who are very well known. The effort they put in gets a lot of rewards, but for us, we're just working comics in, say, Canada or the US, where you're headlining shows and you're doing comedy club dates and private events. You don't get that. You work really, really hard, and you're not bringing home that much money for. It's okay, you can make a living, but I find what I really like about YouTube is if I put in work, if I put in effort, it comes back to me. It's just what you'd expect in a job, whereas stand-up is just work, and maybe some return. And as I say, I'm getting old, and they're like, hey, can you drive 9 hours to North Bay and do an hour and then come back the next day? It's just, I mean, I can, but I don't want to. So I don't know. I haven't given up entirely. China balls. Oh, sorry, chin balls. China balls. China balls sounded a little less vulgar. But I haven't given up entirely. But because I've still like the idea of doing one more comedy album, but we'll see. It's tough to do it all, and I like doing this more right now, and I'm old, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know. I mean, I'll leverage this. I'll be like, hey, anyone in Toronto? I got a show coming up, and I feel guilt about it sometimes, because being a comic, when you're a comic, you start to think that's who you are. I identify as a comedian, and that's my whole being. But but I'm older and more mature now, wiser. I don't have to have. I don't rely on it anymore for my self-worth. Now I rely on my YouTube views for my self-worth. So I'm much more mature. Okay, I do be here. Oh, POV with Art C. He's always here. Always. Love him. Okay. What's this? What about stream on ZV-E1 with a fan or dummy battery for 2 to 4 hours? Can I do this? I would think so. Yeah, if you put that Ulanzi fan, because the Ulanzi fan, you can plug it in to an external battery pack, because it'll only last probably for about an hour or an hour and a half. And if you want to do 2 to 4 hours, you want to plug in that battery. See, because you can it has a little USB-C port thing right there. Oh, you know what? Product showcase mode. Gonna do it. Product showcase mode. Look at that. So you had a little USB-C port right here, and that you can power that all day. And then I would think that would work, especially at 1080, but 60 frames per second. Boy, I tell you, that's. I think you can, but I mean, now you're doing fans, and you still have the potential. I would probably, for that price point, I'd look at doing the FX30, because you don't have to worry then. And now you can't stream over USB-C, unfortunately, except in 1080. Can you stream 10? Does anyone know that? Can you stream in 1080 60 on the FX30? That's a great question. But look that up. If you can stream USB 1080 f60 on the Then you can do straight USB on the FX30, but that's the one I would recommend for when people always, when they tell me they want to do long streams, I always say FX30 because the FX3 will do the same thing, but that's much more expensive, and I love the FX30. So just use the capture card, buy an Elgato Camlink 4K, use the HDMI, and then you're just your FX30 is going to run all day. I wouldn't ZV-E1. I love it for streaming, but I'm willing to put on the fan and I'm willing to take the risk. You know what I mean? But after 4 hours, well, you got a power fan, you got to power the camera, you got to. Anyway, you know what? You could buy it, and there's lots of good return policies, and give it a whirl, see if it works for you. And right now, I'm at 30 minutes with no problems at all. Let's see. I need a B cam from an A6400. ZV-E10 is like $550. Should I get that or save up for the 1,000? Not sure how it will match the 8-bit A6400. Well, if you just want to match the A6400, do the ZV-E10. It saves you some money. Same sensor. You're going to be able to match it up pretty easily. The ZV-E10 too, that's if you want to do 10-bit and you want to step it up. But if you just want to use that 8-bit footage, yeah. I will say, though, the ZV-E10 Mark II has a much better looking standard profile. So it's the same, like this is standard profile coming out of the ZV-E1, and it's very similar on the ZV-E10 Mark II. So I think that looks a fair bit better than the standard profile on the ZV-E10 original. But the ZV-E10 original looks a lot like the A6400. I did search my channel, just go spend all day on my channel. I did an A6400 versus ZV-E10, and I showed them side by side. And I think I did the standard profile at one point, like the auto settings. And then you can see for yourself that it's pretty close. So I would, for what you're talking about, I would get a ZV-E10 original, and then you can buy a lens, and then not even, and still probably be under, if you're buying like a Sigma 16, you're still under that ZV-E10 $1,000. That's what I say. That's what I say. What camera am I streaming on right now? Isn't that up on the screen? Should be. This here. Am I moving it around? ZV-E1 with the 16 to 25. I think that's up there, right? That's another thing you can do on Ecamm. Just put in icons and move around. Okay, so let's see. Oh no, super chats. So sorry. I have a tab and everything, and I still missed them. Oh my God. This is, guys. Okay, super chat. Since Mark's videos have saved me at least $5 in regrettable gear purchases. Well, there you go. Normally I cost people money, but if I'm saving you money, Dino Gaming, fantasmical. Look at that. I just saved somebody maybe, $450. I did the math really quick in my head. $450 on a ZV-E10 too, because they don't need it. You got to go with what you need, man. Oh, wait, there's one more super chat. Thanks, Dino Gaming. You're a superstar. So superstar. Okay. Oh, it's O-Chat again. What's happening here? Did you do it by accident? If so, I'm not giving that money back. Is it easy to use it as a streaming into Mac Ecamm Live with a DJ Mic 2 system? Absolutely. Love that. Super chat that's easy to answer. Yeah, it's I'm doing it right now, except replace Hollyland Lark M2 with DJI Mic 2, and you're fine. Now, it can't be the Mic 2 that's Bluetooth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some people just buy the receiver, and that can go with action cams and stuff like that, or the Osmo Pocket, the Pocket Osmo 3. That is that uses the Bluetooth, but you can't Bluetooth it to your ZV-E1. But can you Bluetooth it to your computer? Maybe. I've never tried that. Can you Bluetooth? Anyway, the point is, if you're buying the one that has the cord, the one with the actual receiver that goes into your camera, and you plug in the USB-C cord, or you use their new fancy cordless thing that goes into the Sony hot shoe, then you can definitely, that's what I'm doing, because I didn't want to set up my Rode Streamer X and my my XLR microphone because I was too lazy today, and there's too much mess here in my studio. So that's what I'm doing here, and I think I did this, first time I tried this was at Sony Kondo because I had no choice. If I wanted to live stream, I had to use my wireless mic, and worked absolutely great. It worked great. So, and thanks, Osho. You don't have to. You can still ask questions, and I'll try to find them. You don't have to. You don't have to pay for them all the time. But it does force me to answer them. I will tell you what. It does force it. Great. Look at this. See this? Great streaming quality. Love the colors. I should just switch. People say this all the time in the streams. I should just switch this to my actual channel. You know, I'm using S-Log3 color grading with leaning LUTs, and everybody likes this better. I forgot to drink my coffee, and now it's cold, but that's not going to stop me. Oh, God in heaven. That is not an enjoyable experience. Ugh, how does that swallowing sound with that? That's the only drawback. Because when my mic is hanging over my head, I can like lean down, pick something up, and I grunt like an old man, but now I grunt into the microphone. And you'll notice I have it reversed because I found at Sony Kondo when it was out here on the shirt, if I lean down and pop, and I did some plosives, then it went in because I didn't have the wind muff on. So I do this, and now my shirt acts as a wind muff. Huh? Genius. He's not just a pretty face. I'll tell you what. Peter, my God, well, I guess you don't know, but it's 12 o'clock in the day here. And so only a couple. No, 0, right? And you know what? Honestly, like last night I had, I was just watching that Welcome to Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds, who's, tries to be me. I'm watching that, and Rob McElhenney. I like that documentary. It's a lot of fun to watch, but everyone is just drinking in it so much, and I am very easily influenced. So if I'm watching a show where everybody's like loving their beer, then I have one. And so I had 3 beers last night, and that might not sound a lot to you young fellas, but 3 beers is way too many for me, especially on a random Thursday night. And I have a headache that could kill a horse today. It is just awful. And so, I'm at the gym these days. So, I mean, obviously you can tell, right? I'm at the gym these days. So I gotta cut that out. I gotta do it. Don't you laugh at me. I will do it, Peter. I will cut it out. I mean, it's every time I say that, that's what I said yesterday. And then I had 3, which is the opposite. Anytime I try to force it. I'm like, you know what, guys, today's the day. And then that'll be the day I have more than usual. So, I am going to, not worth it. Yeah, I know. It is. Hi, everyone. Hey. Now, let's see. What have we missed here? What have we missed? We've got, how long have we been on here? Oh, it's 37 minutes. That's not too bad. What up, Merc? Mr. Too Humble? You're too humble, man. Just, don't be so hard on yourself. Let it out. Okay. Let's see. I'll go back. Listen, don't be afraid to rewrite your comment or question if I have missed it, because that will not bother me, and it might help me see it if I've missed it. Boop, 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 boo. Do. Okay, we are Gimbal Walk TV, tuning in from England. Yeah, so I've been watching that. Documentary that what's it called? Welcome to Wrexham, and they talk about Sheffield there a bunch of times. I think they were. Look at this. I'll just go with the latest one. Do you think Sony will add a wireless streaming in A7C2, like in the A7? Huh? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. Like, I mean, A7C2 has USB-C streaming, and the A7 IV, like in the A7 IV, does anyone know what that is? Because I don't know that. The A7 IV has wireless streaming with the, you mean with the creator app? Is that what you're talking about? It's hard sometimes on this thing to know exactly what people are talking about. All right, what app are you using for the stream? It's not OBS. No, it's Ecamm. Ecamm, and they are Mac, as far as I know. I asked Mr. Camera Junkie that, but I also didn't see his answer. Maybe Marine X or Mr. Camera Junkie can answer that. Oh yeah, he already did. Mac only. Found it. So if you have a Mac, do Ecamm. In my opinion, anyway, it costs money. But that's one of the things OBS has going for it. And OBS, you can use it Mac and PC. But it's just, look, let's say you're a Mac guy and you want to cut out a lot of work. Man, oh man, do it. Do it. Okay. What do I think about Yongnuo? Is it going to be our budget-friendly Sigma lenses? Yeah, man. Like Sigma are now premium, like straight up premium. Did you see my fantastic review of the 28 to 105? They are as good. They are easily the Sigma lenses now. The art lenses are easily as good as the G Master lenses. Fantastic. Sony has a couple of advantages by having that focus breathing compensation and better stabilization, with the lenses, the first party lenses. And then they have that 120 frames per second in the A9 III in AFC that you can't do with the Sigma lenses, even though I'm pretty sure the Sigma lenses are capable of it. It's, but the quality, my goodness, just as good. So, and Yongnuo, yeah, they've become like I got one right here on the A6700. Look at this. Product showcase, no, not product showcase mode, but I'll hide my pretty eyes. And that they're just so good. Really, I'm quite impressed with their 16, their 11. Yongnuo is doing a really good job, and I do think that it is a very budget friendly, high quality. A lot of the Chinese manufacturers, they figured something out about a year ago, I think, about how to make lenses better, because Viltrox just going crazy. Viltrox are excellent. With their pro lenses are bananas, but then they also produce a lot of lower priced budget lenses. They keep them in the same housing, like, so they save costs, because if it's a 20 millimeter or a 56 millimeter, it'll be the exact same casing, and they just change the glass inside, so they're saving costs that way. And Yongnuo is really good. And who else is good? TT Artisan, the 7 Artisan, they're starting to make some really good autofocus lenses, and that was a surprise to me, because manual focus, you're like, yeah, okay, they can do that, but now they're making autofocus lenses that are keeping up with Sony cameras, and that's very cool. It's great to have these options, and it makes the big boys have to come out with more better and better, like and that's why Sigma and stuff, they've been pushed to be excellent, and they are. And so the Sigmas and Tamrons and first party lenses, they have to be fantastic now, because the cheaper stuff is quite good, and that's what I like. Okay, so let's see. I'm getting an A7C II to vlog. Should I get a Sigma 10 to 18? Viltrox 16. I'll be traveling and studio. Love your videos. Okay, well, if you can swing it, I would actually do the I would do the 16 to 25 that I'm using, 2.8. That's my favorite. It costs more than that. It's the Sigma 10 to 18. That'll be good, but with with active stabilization, the Sigma lenses don't do as well. So if you're vlogging, you're holding, it's going to be a little shakier than if you're using a native Sony lens. Same thing with the Viltrox. Now, they do have Catalyst Browse for A7C II, but if you're talking about vlogging, I would save up and get the 16 to 25, because in all of my tests, the Sony lenses are noticeably more stable with the active stabilization. And since the A7C II doesn't have dynamic active stabilization, because dynamic active stabilization does so much gyro stuff to the footage that you don't have to worry too much about it being a third-party lens or a first-party lens. But when you're talking about just Sony's active stabilization that's in the A7C II, then I think it's best to have a Sony lens if you can. So, yeah, that's what I would do. But out of the two, I would get the Sigma. Let's see, Sigma 10 to 18. Well, no, I mean, I would say I wouldn't get the 10 to 18 actually, because you'll have to zoom in a fair amount, because it's an APS-C lens, right? So that's what I would do. So Sigma does have like a 16 to 28. That's full frame, so that would be better. But again, if you're going to go 16 to 28 Sigma, I would still do the Sony 16 to 25 because of the stabilization. But getting the 10 to 18, I mean, you can do it. And you can go into APS-C crop mode if you want, and that'll work fine. It'll save you some costs, and then, but yeah, that's what I would say. I would try to get the 25. That's what I'm saying, Max. I mean, you already got the A7C2. You know, you've got a really nice setup, so I would do that. Hey, hi, Mark. Hello. Jote. I always wonder, Joat. I always wonder, because I see his comments all the time, is it Joat or Jote? Like you're the Jote of tech, sort of like a goat. You're the... Oh, wait, what's happening here? Dino Gaming. What are you doing? Did I miss... Oh, Dino Gaming. Is that, what are you, crazy, man? $20. Too much. As someone who has seen the industry evolve, do I see Micro Four Thirds being phased out? As the APS-C full frame feature gets pretty close, seems expensive R&D to many products. I wonder if it's time to switch to Sony from my G7. All right. Okay. I'm not clairvoyant. I don't know everything. I mean, I know I seem like I do. And I have Micro Four Thirds cameras. I've got the GH5. I have the G7. Kind of wanted a G6. Yeah, I can say that I don't think it. To me, it does seem like they're going to be phased out. I hope I'm wrong, but because Micro Four Thirds, like the big advantage was the little lenses and the little cameras for me, and even when cameras were bigger, like the GH4 when that came out in GH5, you understood the bigness because it had 4K 60, it had 10-bit 422, it had fantastic stabilization. So you were like, okay, it's a bigger Micro Four Thirds camera, but look at all the stuff it has that nobody else has. But now everybody has that stuff, and the Micro Four Thirds cameras are still big that have that stuff. But if they could start like that G7, I love that. It was my first ever camera. I still have it over on my shelf. If they could put all of the goodness of the phase detect autofocus and the 10-bit 422 and the fantastic stabilization and all that stuff in like a little G7 body or smaller, then Micro Four Thirds could maybe stick around. But the way it's going, like you said, R&D and Lumix are leaning pretty hard into that full frame world, and you can't share the mount like you can with an APS-C and full frame with a lot of the brands like Canon, Nikon, and Sony. More coffee burps. But you pay $20 to hear a coffee burp. So I would... Look, that's what I did. Okay, I switched from G7 to Sony, and it was a great move for me. But I mean, I do a camera review channel. I think that I think you'll be happy if you switch. You just go APS-C, Sony, get that fantastic autofocus. If you do gaming, if you're doing a lot of streams and gaming and stuff, the options really, really open up. Your photos, you can get that larger sensor, get that blurrier background easier. I personally can't. The only way I can see myself using Micro Four Thirds right now is if they do end up getting really small Micro Four Thirds cameras that have quite wide lenses and have great stabilization. You could use that for vlogging, and that would be great. And the other way is, say, wildlife photography. If I was talking to a guy who was using Olympus with like a 600 millimeter lens, and his setup was like smaller than a Sony, full frame with a 70 to 200, and this guy's got 600 millimeter lens, which on a Micro Four Thirds is 1200 millimeters equivalent. And he was out there, like he said, yeah, I take this on safari, and I'm like shooting birds that are miles away, and I was like, yeah, that could be a thing, but you need a lot of light for that. And but it's still, I think that for me personally, I can't see me going back to Micro Four Thirds a lot, and it does seem like they're not putting a lot of time and effort into it. The only people are Panasonic and Olympus, and it does look like they're getting less and less popular if you look at the pie charts of what's being sold. So I would say switch. Go for it. That's just my personal opinion, because that's what I did. Put my money where my mouth is. I switched, and that's it. So anyway, thanks again, Dino Gaming, for the super chat. Just no more money. Just ask your question, and then I will. I'll try to answer it. I'll see if I can find it. Okay. Let's see. What's this? Budget versatile lens for both vlogging and cooking. Okay, so Sony 11 or the... I just somehow set off Siri upstairs. How did I do that? Is my accent that bad? And when I said Sony, it sounded like Siri. Anyway, oh, sorry, I shouldn't be saying that out loud. Maybe all of your guys' devices are going off now. But let's see. What was I saying? Sony 11 is great for vlogging. Very wide, so cooking will probably help you too. Or you could do the Yongnuo. But I like the 11 for vlogging because, like I said, first-party lenses has better stabilization. But the Yongnuo, it is good, especially if you want to use Catalyst Browse, something like that. You could also do that Sigma 10 to 18. You could do the Sony 10 to 20 f4. You could do the Tamron 11 to 20. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. If you're not going to use if you don't need to lower than f4, I would probably get the 10 to 20 f4 because then you'll have stable footage. You'll be able to go wide. You have a zoom range. But the 11 is fantastic. But then you're stuck at 11. You know what I mean? And but the 10 to 18 from Sigma and the 11 to 20 from Tamron, those are 2.8 lenses, so you get a blurrier background. So I don't think I helped you. I think I gave you many options, but start with the Sony 11. If you think that's too pricey, look at the Yongnuo 11. And then if you want to zoom, I think the cheapest one is probably the Sigma 10 to 18. Okay? I think that answers it better. Look at this. Love my channel. Well, yeah, I suppose you do. Why is it loading? That tricked me. I was like, why is it loading? You're a trickery. Okay, I'm just getting into photography. I want a zoom lens for my A6700. Okay, my fave is the Sigma 18 to 50. I just love it. Small, compact. You can basically do macro shots with it. It is so light and it's so sharp. But if you want a longer focal length, the 17 to 70 from Tamron. Those would be my two recommendations for zoom. I love taking around the 18 to 50. I do love that extra reach of that 70 though, but it's a much bigger lens. And it does have stabilization though, so that does help a little bit sometimes in low light conditions. Those are my two. So go watch my videos on those lenses and make your decision. I've definitely done videos on that. Okay, look at this. Is the Luca? How come I can't get Lucas up? Okay, there it is. Is the Tokina 1118 that bad? I can't see anyone using it. You know what? I don't know. I think the only reason that people don't talk about it is it doesn't seem readily available. Like I can't find one to order. I can't contact the company. Because Tokina are Japanese made, right? So you would think that they would be a nice quality lens like the Sigmas and the Tamrons. But I just haven't had the opportunity to use any Tokina lenses. Maybe if you were in Japan, maybe they're much more plentiful over there. But so Luca, I don't know. My guess is that they're good. I want to use them because I think they're probably good. But I just haven't had a shot. Okay, so let's see. What's this? I've been stuck with indecision. GH5 or ZV-E10 I need for long recording 4K 60 session, despite all the Sony praise because of the better thermals. Is that justified? Yeah, it is justified. Your ZV-E10 Mark II 4K 60 is not going to last that long. So you're going to need a fan for that. So I would do the GH5 and then I would manually focus it. Don't autofocus it. But if you want a locked off session, no problem. You just manually focus your GH5. You can do it on the app. The app is great, the Panasonic app, at least for the old Lumix stuff like GH5. So yeah, you see, you got to go with your instinct sometimes. Funny. You just showed what a contradiction you can be. Like I said, Micro Four Thirds, a lot of people, maybe you should make the switch. But here's a perfect example of somebody who shouldn't switch, because if you want 4K 60 and those are your price options that you're looking at, the GH5 or ZV-E10 II, I would say what I'm saying now. Get the GH5 and manually focus, and then you will get much longer run times. So yeah, look at that. Thanks, TM Bounty Hunter, for making me look like a fool. Like a fool. Still, though, you know, for your average everyday use, autofocus, things like that, you know, that's why I did it. Okay. What was this? What does this say? When I record my light on 5600, I look so red. Any tips for that, or am I missing something? It's possible your light. So if you record a 5600 and you set your camera to 5600, it's possible your light is just, or your camera and lens combo, the white balance is off on one of them, or like the temperature reading is off on one of them. So manually white balance. Get yourself a gray card. This is a small one here. Just get yourself a gray card. Really anything gray, but you know, it's nice to buy the real ones. I'm just looking to see if I have my cheap one around. You can get them for like $10, the ones that fold out, and manually white balance this on your camera, and then it will be the correct white balance there. And if you're still red, maybe your face is red. You know, my face is pretty red. I'm like got Irish heritage, and I'm just a pink person. So it does. And as I'm getting older, I'm getting pinker and pinker. You just start translucent. Soon I'll just be pure blood. You know, not a pure blood like in Harry Potter, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Wait, did O-Dog? Oh, whoops. All right, let's see. Dino Gaming. Oh yeah, I answered that because that was the super chat. Let's see. I see you're using the Hollyland Lark M2 mic. Very astute. Nice observation of you. Do you prefer this over the large ones? What do you see as the use case for this? Yes, I do prefer it over the larger Lark and DJI because I love the sound quality, and this just been sitting here on my shirt and you don't even feel it. I actually, yesterday I went and picked up my kids, I did a bunch of stuff. I was still wearing the mic because I forgot that it was on. I love that. And I love that I can just reverse it and it still sounds pretty good, and then I don't even have to put on the wind muff. So if I don't need the backup recording, then I do this. But at Sony Condo, you see me walking around interviewing people. I used this once when my DJI ran out of batteries, and I saw iJustine there, and it was my only shot to get her, and I couldn't charge up my mic, so I swapped it out for the Lark 2, and it sounded great. But I used the DJI Mic 2 for that, and the reason was the backup recording at 32-bit float, and it saved me. When I interviewed Gerald, I accidentally unplugged the wire from the DJI to the camera, and it didn't record anything. I went back to the transmitter, pulled off the audio off that 32-bit float, and I synced it to Gerald's interview, and I was able to get that instead of having to go up to him and go, "Hey man, can you record that again? Sorry." You know, and so that's my use case right there for that thing. That's why I love the small if I can use it, but you know. Okay, that answers that, right? So Marb, hey Marb, if you could only choose one daily lens, what would you choose? The 20-70 G4 or the Tamron 20-40 2.4? Isn't that a 2.8? Right? 2.8 Tamron. I just want to make sure. Tamron 20-40. It's probably just a typo, right? Yeah, 2.8. I was about to say, did I miss something? Did Tamron produce a 2.4 lens? Oh, wow, one daily lens. Would you choose that or that? That's really tough. Just because, okay, so if you're talking photography, I would go with the Sony 20-70. Talking videography, I'd do the Tamron 20-40 2.8. So if I have to do both, I would do the Tamron because I don't like an f4 in the studio. I don't like an f4 in the studio. Let me see. What was that? Sony. Yeah. So that's why I would choose the Tamron. If photos only, definitely the Sony one. But for video and a hybrid, because I'm big time into video, I would do the Tamron. So there you go. I tell you, and I tell you why. Is the R10 or A6400 better? It's a tough question because the R10's a newer camera and it's got really good photo features. But the problem is with the R10 is the lenses. It's just Sigma's coming out with the 10 to 18 now, thankfully, and hopefully there'll be more. But if they had the same lens selection and you're a beginner and like you're getting your first camera, the R10 would probably be an easier way to go. And in video and A6400 doesn't have any stabilization or gyro data. So like out of the two cameras, the R10 is better on paper. The problem is the practicality of being able to get lenses. You could get everything for the A6400. You can make that work so well. You can make it could be your main YouTube studio camera. It could be your main photo camera. You could do telephoto lenses that reach out into the wilderness, or really wide lenses, and a bunch of third party, so many cheap things. And the R10, like, it's something that's really hard to explain well enough to people just starting. They're like, but I love Canon. I see they're the big one, right? Since I've been a boy, I've loved Canon. Right, but when you buy that camera, you need to find the lenses. And so a lot of people are adapting the EF lenses, but they're finding out that that's not that easy to find them anymore. And also the APS-C line of the EF lenses was never strong, and especially with these new cameras that are sharp. So that's, I know it's a confusing answer, but the R10 is probably a better camera. But I'd go A6400 because the lenses, they're available, they're affordable, and Canon is really being very slow to support this APS-C line, and it's unfortunate. But that is, hey man, it happens, right? Camera Canada is going to give me the R5 II for a while to try out, so that'll be fun, but that's full frame. It's a whole different kettle of fish right there. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna get some Gatorade. I'm starting to get a little thirsty. Maybe I should have a straw to be a little more, what's that mean? Demure. Doing Magics. Has Sony given you any new cameras to try? Not released yet? Oh yeah, A7 V, A7S4. No, they didn't have anything. They just the 85, which I had already had here in Canada. They gave to me a few weeks prior, so I just did that. Okay, so wait, did I catch all the? Did I get all the? Sorry, why am I asking you people? How would you know? Super chats. I did that, right? Dino Gaming, the G7, yeah. Then did that. Okay, so it looks like I got all the super chats. Please let me know if I didn't. Oh, no. Here's one. Yep. I knew I missed one. So I need a camera for the end of September. I would like to buy an FX3, A7S III, but I feel like they'll be updated soon. Do I rent one for 4 days or get a ZV-E1 and have it as a B cam when either come out? I don't. So ZV-E1 is great. I'm using it right now. Love it. But if you need a camera at the end of September and you want it to be your workhorse camera, get the FX3. I really don't see that being updated for like a year. Would be at least. I have no idea. I'm not sure they'll ever update the A7S III. That Sony rumor guy is saying he's not sure they'll phase that. He thinks they might phase it out. So I'm a big fan of getting what you need now, and the FX3, I mean, no matter what comes out, if the FX4 comes out, I mean, it's still not going to be, the FX3 will still be something you probably should buy. I mean, it's just fantastic. 4K 120 and just no overheating, so great to use. The ergonomics, I have the FX30 I use in my main studio, and I just love using that camera. And so what I'm saying to you is I think if you can rent one for 4 days. Do I rent one for 4 days? I mean, that's something you could do. But if you only need it for 4 days, and rent one, but you got to get used to a camera too. Like, unless you really know your Sony cameras, you got to get used to it. So I would get it earlier than your shoot, And if you think you're going to be using this a lot, like if you're doing a lot of video work, you won't regret that FX3. And the ZV-E1, you can always, if you want to do vlogging and stabilization, you want it as a B angle, then that's, but it sounds like you're trying to do something that's a little more on the professional scale. So I wouldn't hesitate to get the FX3. A7S3 is also great, but it's just that the FX3 is just more user-friendly for video. It's got the fan. A7S3 doesn't overheat, but it's still nice to have that fan there just in case. But it's just, once you start using the FX3, FX30 body, you realize how good it is for video. So my advice to you is if it's in the budget and you're planning on shooting video from September going forward and not just one little shoot, then you won't regret that FX3. I would get that and not worry about when they'll update it. I mean, if you do that, you'll never buy a camera. And I mean, I can't imagine there'll be an FX3 in 2024. Can't imagine. But I mean, Sony doesn't tell me crap, but you know, that's what I would say. I would say, go do it, man. I'm a big advocate of go get what you need right now. Don't worry about it. Worry about the work. Worry about what you're doing, you know, and then you'll be fine. Then you'll be fine. Okay, let's see. I guess I should get going soon. I gotta go back. Gotta go to the gym. You know what I mean? Gotta go to the gym. But we'll do a few more. Let's see if I say that. Yeah, see, people drop off right away when I say that. A bunch of people just left. All right, I won't go soon. Okay. Well, I'll cut it like a potato jet video. I'll just cut it off quickly. Hello from Ireland. What do you think the new Sony camera will be? I don't know. What's next in the pipeline for Sony in terms of I guess the next one up is probably with the A7S3, which they may never update again. The FX3 and the A7 IV, I guess, are the next to be updated. And I don't see any of them being updated in the next few months, honestly. So I don't know. I guess probably A7 IV will turn into an A7 V, and then maybe there'll be an FX4 or whatever they'll call it. But that I'm sure. I think they're done with cameras for a little while anyway. But who knows? I mean, hopefully I'm not, leading you all astray here. I got a ZV-E1 Tamron 2040. Which lens should I get for zoom range? Well, there's a 28-105 from Sigma, which is fantastic, which I just did. I also love the Sigma Art Lens 24-70. The Sony, of course, G Master 24-72, phantasmical. The 70-200 GM2. If you really want some decent range, you'll miss between 40 and 70. But if you don't need that, but so what are you getting? So are you using ZV-E1 for photos? I guess as well, because I can't imagine you'll want a big zoom for video. But yeah. Those are what I would recommend. I'm talking. You look at your Tamron has, what does Tamron have? They got a 35-150 too as well. Is that yeah? What is it? You guys, let's see. Tamron doesn't send me as many lenses, so sometimes I sort of forget their lineup. I try to keep it in my head, but so many lenses swimming around up here. But yeah, look at the Tamron zooms. They have a bunch. Like Tamron's doing the widest zoom range, so you may be happier looking at that, and you already have the Tamron. So just take a look at their full frame zooms, and there's some there that you might like. And like I said, if you want the top notch quality, 70-200 GM2 or the 24-70 GM2 Sigma. Sigma 28-105 or the Sigma 24-70. All right, confusing. All right, let's see what else we got here. Can I recommend a Sony camera for church live streaming? Yes, the Sony Jesus Mark II. It's amazing. I would get the FX30. I would get the FX30. You can save a lot of souls that way, man, because it's not going to overheat on you. Just rock solid. So anytime anybody, I get a fair amount of questions about live streaming from churches. I should sit up straight, shouldn't I? Just, is the top of my head still in the frame? Yes, sitting up straight. So the live streaming for churches, for anything long, then I would, oh, my fan just died on the Ulanzi. I didn't have it fully charged. Hour and 10 minutes. So now we're going to have some overheating probably on my, can I possibly plug it in? Oh, I might be able to. Plug that in, because eventually this will overheat. Okay. My wires down here, and I just knocked my camera down. Oh, this is a disaster. Oh, it was plugged in. That's why it was plugged into this thing. Ooh, it doesn't reach. Oh, that's a shame, as Jerry Seinfeld would say. That's a shame. All right, well, let's see what happens with the ZV-E10. When I start to get an overheat warning, that'll be a great way to end it's overheating. No, turn it off. But see, an hour and 10 minutes, no overheat warning sign at all. And I have 2 of these spring things too, but the other one's in my garage. So FX30, well, let's go. Rapid fire, baby. The countdown begins. If you don't think these Ulanzi fans are useful, then you ain't been paying attention. Oh man, I'll have to quickly check my, I'm paranoid now. And oh, plus I'll just take this off. Well, you know what? I'll start charging it. See, this is the spring one. See? So useful, but not when it dies. I should have had it plugged in to external power. It was my own fault. Why doesn't Sony set 0 proper exposure for S-Log 3? Am I missing something? No, exposure is perfect. Most would agree that 1.3 is the sweet spot if you're not manually exposing. Well, yeah, I mean they set their LUTs, their conversion LUTs to be middle gray at like 40% and stuff like that. So they have these standardized ways of you should set exposure for their particular conversion LUT. But most people who convert themselves in DaVinci Resolve, or they use like a Leeming LUT or some other form of conversion LUT, they find it's better for dynamic range to overexpose a little bit. But that's just the nature of the beast of trying to get less noise in your image and higher dynamic range. And, so Sony is just going with more of an industry standard of what you should expose for middle gray, and not worrying too much about noise here, dynamic range, that just what is the best, what is the industry standard for setting middle gray in log footage, So that's my theory as to why they don't tell you to set it higher. And let's see, should I get the A6700 for videography, social media? Yes. That's an easy one. I love that camera. If you want to do videography, and then that's what I would do. Oh, sorry, super chat came in. Super chat, what are we doing here? Super chat, back again. Shady's back. Wait, did I miss any? And Philip. All right, Philip. Hey, Mark, thanks for your great content. I have a ZV-E10 too. I'm more interested in the photo use case. Is the pros to upgrading to the A6700? Absolutely, Philip. If it's got the mechanical shutter, it's going to help you so much with photos, because you can have, as I said earlier in the stream, but you might not have been here, you can get banding if you're in artificial lights. Lights flicker at different frequencies. And so sometimes when you take a photo with electronic shutter, you'll see little black lines. You're like, what is going on there? And ironically, it kind of looks like a shutter of a window closing, and like blinds closing, but it's because you have no shutter, because the shutter will take the picture all at once and let the light in, depending on how you set it. But the electronic shutter reads from top to bottom. So if the lights are flickering, that's why you'll see those horizontal lines going through your photos. It'll ruin it, and you can't get rid of them. And that can happen under artificial lightings. If you're at an indoor event, you're at a concert, you're at a wedding, then with electronic shutter, you can see banding. And so if you're going to go taking photos, and it's not going to be outdoors in the sunshine, and also there is the possibility of getting bends in your lines. Like say if you're taking a photo of a golfer swinging a club, then there might be a bend in his club, and that'll be rolling shutter from your electronic shutter because reading from top to bottom. So as the club swings, then you'll have a curve. So the electronic shutter, it'll be straight, because it's just taking one thing. And so there is a big advantage for photos to upgrade to the A6700. So if you're going to go take, and plus don't forget the EVF, another giant. So yeah, that is absolutely, that's what I would tell you to do. Okay, what is Obsessive Audio saying? I bought an FX30 Brighton because of this channel. Super happy with those purchases. Oh, cool. Yeah, well, those are great things. Love that Brighton Star FX30. My God, you've done well, Obsessive Audio. You've done well. Back again. Okay, so I got all the supers. Hooray! Now, any more questions before my camera overheats? Let's see. Even though this was already asked, I'm just going to put it back up. I'm going to put that back up. Okay. Best place to buy used camera gear in Toronto. Oh, Lord. I'd say you're better off, going to the actual camera store, seeing what they have there. Downtown Camera's great. Henry's, VizTech. Just visit those guys and see what they have on for used. And but like go on eBay and Kijiji, you're taking your chances there. But I mean, I've done it. But I start with the camera stores and take it from there. So check Downtown Camera. Not everybody knows about Downtown Camera, but they're a really well established store, and they'll probably have some pretty good used gear. So go with Downtown Camera. Just what is your camera crisis? Well, I can't stop buying cameras. I started the channel with the reason I called it that is the alliteration, the camera crisis. My wife helped me. We were just like beating around ideas. I like the CC, and then I was a bit worried at first that it sounded too much like Camera Conspiracies with Casey, but I figured, what the hell? And it's just, since my channel was going to be trying to decide between cameras, because I can never do that. Turns out I just buy them all, but I have trouble deciding between the cameras. So that crisis, I started the channel in my 40s, midlife crisis. Yeah. So there you go. In case you guys don't know the story, let's see. ZVE10 1 foot away. Will it be too tight? Yes. Yes, it will. You would want, if you want something similar to me and it's 1 foot away, you got to get the 11, and it's still a bit close. I mean, try to find a way to back up a little. If you wanted the 16 millimeter look on the ZVE10, like the Sigma 16, that's 24 millimeters. So that thing, I am about, to get this look with a Sigma 16 mil, the camera is about 3 feet away from me. Okay, so the 23, way too tight, certainly for that. And a 16, it's too tight at 1 foot. So if you 1 foot, man, you gotta get the widest lens you can. So get that Sony 11 or get that Sigma 10 to 18. That's what you gotta do there. Boss your office. Yeah. Look at this. Best non-OEM battery. I tell you, I only buy the Sony batteries now because I've had these. The newer ones I found to be the best, to answer your question. Newer, Neewer. However, I've had too many third-party batteries crap out on me. Oh, I got an overheat warning. Oh no. Oh. Okay, I put my fan back on. Oh boy. Oh no, I don't know. If it craps out, I will switch to my Ecamm Live and say goodbye. You see what happens when you don't have that fan? Oh goodness gracious. All right, let's get going. Let's go before it shuts off. Oh my God. Best camera for live streaming under $800. ZVE10, the original. Just get an HDMI capture card and get the Elgato 4K camera. And it says, wait, any more? Canon R7, Sony a6700 better for photography. Thanks for live stream. I would get the a6700 because of the lens selection, and the overheat warning light went off. Oh, you Lonzy. But the thing is, it doesn't have a lot of juice. So let's continue our rapid fire questions. This is actually a good way to end the live stream. Rapid fire question. Okay, what budget lens can you recommend if I want to record short films? A Sigma 16mm f1.4 would be my pick as a budget for APS-C, and I'm assuming that is what you are talking about. Or Micro Four Thirds if you have that, because your name is Microfighter. Best cam for outdoor hiking vlogs. Don't say GoPro. DJI Action 4. For outdoor hiking vlogs, a6700 is probably what I would do, because it has good stabilization and it's still a small camera. And let's see, we are. Can we go any more questions? What is your camera crisis? What are your thoughts on best place to buy use? I got to a lot of questions, hey. Oh, this is not rapid fire anymore. I'm too busy reading. What are your thoughts on the Tamron 70-300 4.5 for the ZV-E10? Lack stabilization, big compromise. Lack stabilization is not that big of a deal. You just can up your shutter speed a little bit, as long as, especially, I don't have to talk this fast. If you're out in public or you're out in the sunshine, your shutter speed can just be raised a little bit. Low light, you're going to have trouble because it starts at 4.5, but and I certainly wouldn't use it in any kind of studio setting. But 70-300, you wouldn't do that anyway. So don't worry too much about the lack of stabilization. Just make sure your shutter speed is high enough to compensate. So in the sun, if you're taking photos outdoors in the sunshine, then I don't think it's going to be a problem. Okay, let's see. Do you have a favorite stabilized lens for video, zoom or prime? I find stabilization on the a6700 isn't enough on its own. Well, not really. I mean, you can get the old one, the 10-18 from Sony. That one has OSS. But most lenses these days aren't stabilized. So if I find the a6700 isn't good enough with the stabilization, if I need a little more, I run it through Catalyst Browse, put on about a 3% crop, and then I do it that way, you know? Okay. Did I miss anything good? Somebody just thumbs down me. Why would you thumbs down me? I'm trying to do rapid fire questions. What's your problem? You turn that thumb around. It was a mistake, I'm sure. Oh, got my overheating because my thing shut off. You know what? That's it. Last one. Is there a way to emulate product showcase mode in the a6700? Yeah, you put it to center-based autofocus on your camera, and then it'll just do whatever is in the center, and then it'll work pretty much the same way. But you have to dig into the menu a little bit, and then it won't have that eye autofocus. You won't be able to turn it on and off quickly like you can here, but you can definitely just do center-based autofocus, and it will work fairly similarly. So that's it. I'm going to go before the camera overheats. You see the guy who wanted the ZV-E10 for long streams? I tell you what, fans, and sometimes the fans' battery die. So here you go. But it's good because it's right about the time I would have done my outro. Anyway, a lot of you guys really stuck around for a lot of this. Hey, the thumbs down person went away. Thanks so much. You guys went away. I'm going to stumble into my outro until my camera overheats is what I'm going to do. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this. I will leave the live stream up for anybody. Sorry if I didn't get to your question. If you really wanted something answered, write it in the comments of the video when it is posted in the real comments of this, and I'll read those and then I'll answer them. And that is all. And super chats. Oh no, there's a super chat. Is it easy to use an eCam? I think I answered that one, right? Didn't I answer that one? Oh, I got the thumbs down again. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, there's two. Oh no. Super chat. ZV-E10 with 15, good for vlogging, good idea. ZV-E1, well, not good for dynamic. No, I wouldn't use the APS-C lenses. I've tried that, and I don't love the way the footage looks. Look for the 16-25 is my favorite. I find the APS-C image with the dynamic active stabilization, or even the active one, I am now doing the full frame lenses for that. So there you go. And Fathering Autism, just a big thank you. Your channel's been a huge help. Figured you caused me to spend a bunch of money, so what's another $10? Well, there you go. What a great way to end the live stream before my camera overheats. So thanks so much for watching, and I will post this up. You guys are awesome. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye. Now, let's just finish this off. Huh? Didn't overheat. Huh?